Well, hello guys, welcome back. So we're glad you guys are responding, and so far we're getting all positive feedback as I'm making this video on making the meditations that will include the celebrations of other cultures, yet include Loki. When I was first starting to include Loki in Wiccan celebrations, technically speaking, most of them are Celtic. He's not a Celtic deity. I don't care what he tells you, he's not. How do you make space for a god that never existed in that space in the first place? You can't just expect to, say, walk into a circle and plunk down a statue of Loki and have everybody else be okay with it. Same thing if you're growing up, like, say, I grew up Catholic. My parents didn't permit me to worship in the home, and their house, their rules. I would have to go outside and be quiet, and I couldn't have statues or anything. And we didn't have the internet or stuff back then, and we weren't going to go to the local witchy occult shop to find something. So if you wanted to do stuff for the gods, you often had to do it like within your heart or something. And if you're growing up, say, Catholic, you can't just take a statue of Loki and plunk it down in the nativity and expect everybody to be good with it, or walk up to the priest and demand he say a few good words about your fox and lord. It's not going to fly. But let's say you want to practice both. You want to practice Christmas, is in a Catholic thing or a Christian thing, but you want to include Loki, and this is clearly not about him. There's no room in that manger for him. One of the things I started doing was borrowing from other cultures' practices of Christmas, where like they would have all the new stuff, like for the baby Jesus to see. So like all the new gods would start arriving at the manger. Like as I was transitioning over, that was really helping putting out the nativity and starting to put new stuff out. So like the baby Jesus, I know this sounds, could see, all the new gods and everything. So, but that's when I was practicing on my own and have my own house and everything. You can't always do that. So the goal with the meditations is to give people a safe space where like maybe you want to combine Christmas, but you're keeping that spiritual sense of Christmas, not, just, secular Christmas. But you also want to include Loki. And like people so far have like the Day of the Dead thing, like you want to have that spiritual significance, but you want to include Loki. And like I did the one for Halloween, which is often what I call Samhain. So that was, I don't know if we did it as much as we could have. It was like Loki's Halloween adventure, so that was more secular. But you could also do one for Samhain. And you can do that with any holiday if you feel comfortable. Like, if you do not feel comfortable, don't do it. What I used to do when I would get new gods in and I would get screamed at by everyone for this was to include them in whatever my important holidays were, as both an American and a Roman Catholic growing up. I know what my important holidays are because they're on the calendar, and and I'm not saying that to like brush off any other holidays, but asking people to just take all their holidays and throw them in the dumpster because they're now working with Loki, that's kind of harsh. And it's also harsh to ask people every holiday season to make a hard choice. Do you choose Loki or do you choose, something else? And some people are like that. They draw a line in the sand. You get Christmas or Yule. They won't give you both. Don't listen to those people. You can do both. You might be exhausted, but you can do both. Like for me, Yule itself can be like a 1 minute ceremony outside, 30 seconds of looking out the window, depending on what the weather is that day. But it's not going to be this huge thing. I don't have a coven. And I talked to Loki about how we can use the meditations for other things too, besides, religious or spiritual things. But like for example, being gay, I know a lot of people from outside the gay community, one, think we live in an actual community. We don't. And we don't live in this actual community. I'm not living in a neighborhood. I have never attended a pride parade once. I wouldn't have transportation. And pride parades can be problematic. Not every gay person that shows up for pride finds themselves welcome. That's just reality. So we were trying to work on a Pride Parade meditation, but it just wasn't working out. I'm like, the clips are really small, and we're trying to do this stuff respectfully so that, like, say maybe 500 nice Christian gay people did not find themselves in a pagan video about celebrating gay pride with their pagan lord. They may have taken exception to that. So it's really hard because gay pride photos and video stock usually focus around people, to find something that's you're not going to fall asleep, and yet I feel secure enough of, hey, this person obviously posed for this picture, it's okay to use it. So it's, we have had gay pride stuff on before, but never like a gay pride with Loki thing. And, that's another complicated thing of, here's gay pride and I'm bringing my pagan god into it. And although there might be some gay pagans at, say, a pride parade or in a gay community, there will be just as many that are Christian and very intolerant of your God. So, it's like really hard and complicated sometimes to create and carve out those spaces. So, I know that wasn't much of a video for today, but that's actually what we've been working on, is how do you carve out a space where you can keep the traditions that are meaningful to you, like say Christmas or Day of the Dead or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or something. And how do you make a room for Loki or whomever else you're worshiping at that table? Do you? Some people wouldn't. Some people would be like, absolutely not. That god's not showing up at my holiday, and that's fine. I respect that. But, for me, I've always included him. I don't care if Christmas, excuse me, I don't care if Christmas is about him or not. I will have him, right there up in front seeing the nativity. We're probably not going to do it this year, but only because the family nativity has a bad history to it. That's the only reason we're not doing it. We actually leave the tree up all year because the All-Father likes it. So, it's a thing of finding a way to make your own practices. And the meditations give people, hopefully, are going to give people a safe space to do that don't always have that safe space, traditionally speaking. You might not, and I don't want people sneaking around to worship Loki or any other god, but you might not have that safe space right now, and I say don't speak around because, believe me, from experience, it makes it 10 times worse what you're trying to do. Don't sneak. I know there's a certain Wiccan author that tells people to sneak. Please don't do that. You're setting yourself up for trouble. You don't want to lose a home or anything, though you shouldn't be here if we're having that discussion. Just because, whatever, channel for adults, yada yada. But, the thing is, it's some people don't have that safe space. I was just on Reddit today, and a guy was talking about, grown up man with a wife and everything, and she does not respect his paganism, and she's doing all this stuff to his statues and his altar and everything. And people were chiming in with stories about having altars destroyed and that. We don't all live in, Sunnybrook Forest. We don't all get to worship openly, even if we're grown adults, in our own home. We don't always get to do that. And so, just the added stress of wanting to include Loki or Odin or whomever in, say, traditional celebration where they wouldn't be welcome. Sometimes you don't have that space. But, that's our ideas on it. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.